Assalamu alaikum, this is Sam Polk Jr. With Blacklisted TV, and this is Education HQ. Today's topic will be Barack Obama, or President Barack Obama, his chances of getting re-elected, and the importance of voting. It is very important for you to exercise your right to go out and vote. A lot of people complain about the dilemmas and the problems that we face as a country and as a black community. If you don't utilize your right to vote and pick the leaders that make the critical decisions in your day-to-day life, you really don't have a reason to complain, because the minute or the time that you have to do something about the situations that we face is at election time. A lot of black people do vote in the presidential elections, but as we saw in 2010, we don't come out to vote in the primary elections. So a lot of the support system that Barack has disappeared, because a lot of the senators were kicked out of office, and Tea Party officials were replaced them. And it is very important, it's critical for you to go out and vote, and if you haven't registered, register. And even if you are ineligible to vote, you still should encourage others that are to register and go out and vote. This is probably the most important election in this country's history. That's often said. It's primarily true each time it's said, but no more so than now. We have this nation's first African-American president. In my opinion, I feel that he's done more for the middle class and the underprivileged in this country than any president before him, even including Bill Clinton and John F. Kennedy. It's going to be a fight, not because he's not capable or he didn't do a good job. His opponent is totally inferior politically, but a lot of the problems he will face will be along racial lines, old tricks of the past, the poll taxes. They're pumping advertisement to certain communities saying that you need a photo ID in some places where you don't, and people that just doesn't have the education about the facts will believe it. It's up to you, if you care about the direction this country is going, to vote. I will say that I totally endorse President Barack Obama for no other reason than he's made Black America step his game up. And what I mean by that, I have seen little girls say they want to marry a man like Barack Obama. I've seen little boys say Barack Obama makes me want to be smart. He makes me want to dress the part. He makes me want to speak correctly, and I think this is positive. I know older people who marched in the 60s because to get the right to vote, and in a relatively short amount of time, they've seen that to the election of an African American president. I think it's great. It's a great thing, and I totally endorse him. On the debates, the third and final debate, President Obama was the clear-cut winner. On foreign policy, he showed a mastery of situations going on in the world, in the Middle East, in the Far East, such as China. He answered questions so easily that totally befuddled Mitt Romney. Anybody that walked away from that not seeing that Barack Obama was the correct choice or the proper choice for us is just not voting on him. Is just not going to vote for him because they're not going to vote for him, either because he's black, or he represents the middle class, or he represents something that are other than what they perceive as being presidential. But he's the clear-cut choice, not only for this country, but especially for the middle class. If you don't like him, that's fine, that's one thing, but if you're smart and you want to vote with your purse string and not your heart, I guess I would say. And the second debate, he was a clear-cut winner. He was more aggressive, of course, than he was in the first one. The first one, I think he was not unprepared, but when you're such a skilled debater, it's sort of like a prize fighter. You think sometimes that you're supposed to win just because you show up, and I think Romney caught him off guard. But the second debate, he I wouldn't say redeemed himself, but he showed the true President Obama. And in the third one, he was just absolute no contest. If it had been a basketball game, they would have called the mercy rule at like 10 minutes. They would have ended it. Or if it was a boxing match, the ref would have stepped in the middle and was like, it's over. President Barack Obama, I think, will go down in history as not only the best president we ever had, but the benchmark or the model for any other minority running for president. He's laying a groundwork for something that's going to be bigger than what you can even conceive of right now, because we're in the moment. And I would encourage many of you to go and do research on President Obama if you don't know much about him. There are several good books you can read, like An American Story. It's a collection of his speeches and a lot of the things that he said on the campaign trail during the first campaign. Another book that's good is The Speech, and it's basically detailing the events of the Reverend Wright situation, where they tried to, I guess, derail his momentum at the time. And he so eloquently gave a speech about his dealings with Reverend Wright and why Reverend Wright said what he said, and not so much about what he said, but why he said it. And that's the bigger issue. The name of that speech is A More Perfect Union. And there's also a speech that he wrote even before he became a senator. I think it was back in his graduate days or in law school. Dreams of My Father, where it tells a little bit about his life and his background. And I think that will give you a better insight about what kind of man he is, what kind of philosophy he's coming from, and how he developed that philosophy. And it's a better source of understanding him and his principles, why he does what he does and why he says what he says, more so than getting that information from Fox News or CNN, who's not going to tell the true story. And I just want to encourage you to go out and vote. The election is November 6th, Tuesday. You don't have to wait until that day. I encourage you to vote early, and encourage you to drill it into your friends and get them out to vote if they're iffy about whether they're going to go out or not, or they think that their vote doesn't count. Really talk to them and let them know that every vote counts and everybody is needed. And you don't want to be on the wrong side of history when it's all said and done. When your grandkids ask you, did you vote for Barack Obama? And you have to lie and say, yeah, I did, but I didn't. Or November 7th, when you wake up in the morning and he didn't get elected, and you learn he lost by 1 or 2 percentage points, or he could have had the electoral college, but he didn't have 1 or 2 points. You're going to feel really bad about yourself. But this is Polk Jr. For Blacklisted TV, and this is HQ Revolution.